Now, Gauteng has in the past days lined up key events from lifestyle, sports and music with the aim of building a competitive city region. The events are expected to inject an estimated 500 million rand into the provincial visitor economy. Joining us to tell us more about some of the activities is Barba Gaoganediwe, who is the executive marketing head of Gauteng Tourism Authority. Barbara, good to see you. How are you?
First time in your life hearing you calling me Barbara.
Yeah, Baba. Yeah. Thank you so much for making time. And so Gauteng is really the place to be almost every weekend now. When I look at the events that have taken place over the last couple of weeks, whether it's the Kailami 9-hour Motor Fest, whether it's, I saw you the other day at the Meetings Africa at the Sandton Convention Center. These are some of the key events that are showcasing that Gauteng is a place to be.
Absolutely, and remember we are coming from a backdrop of 2.5 years of no events at all, no revenues for our budding entrepreneurs that are in the space, no revenue for our venues. Therefore, these are not just events, these are economic stimulators, these are job creation platforms, but these are also platforms that enhance our competitiveness. Major cities in the world boast of quality convention centers, infrastructure, transportation, and we strive to be amongst those. So these are not just partying platforms. These are economic stimulators. Over 500 million rand injected just out of the staging of 3 days of Meetings Africa, but also the world and African continent connected here to deal with challenges around the visitor economy, issues around energy security, issues around crime and their effect on what we do to drive tourism, but also getting the locals to be primary beneficiaries of this work that we do. 4,000 delegates converging at the convention center. Somebody drove the bus that took them to an after dark program. Hotels were able to hire more people to deal with accommodation, to deal with the bedding, more bacons for breakfast and the like. And that's the ripple effect of this thing that we do. It's not just conferences and people going for shopping.
Yeah, and I mean, we're talking here about the events that suit every lifestyle and budget, the events that are happening in Gauteng. How intentional are you about making Gauteng that place to be? Because we've been losing out to the Western Cape for the longest time.
We're very intentional. We account for over 33% of South Africa's GDP, just under 6% of Africa's GDP. So when Gauteng works, when Gauteng get going, then country and the continent benefit. So we understand the magnitude of the work that is placed on our soldiers. It's not just for the benefit of Gauteng residents and the Gauteng economy. It's an important aspect of the country's reindustrialization, economic recovery effort. So it's in the interest of South Africa and Africa for Gauteng to work, to host quality events, to be able to have world-class infrastructure, deal with crime issues, energy insecurity issues, but also get the 15.5 million people that are our new gold in Gauteng to appreciate the importance of this and placing themselves as the beneficiaries of this, to be champion hosts, to deal with those that pickpocket tourists at Vilakazi Street because they are taking bread from their own mouth. So it's a mammoth task that we are taking with aplomb. We have just been confirmed as the host for the 15th editions of the BRICS Summit. And this we are not taking for granted. It's an important booster and sign of confidence on our infrastructure, on our hosting capabilities, and the provincial leadership's drive to make this hosting inclusive to our townships, informal settlement and hostels. And we take this, like I've said, not for granted. This is a big work on us, but we are ready for it.
Yeah, and I'm glad you've mentioned the security aspect, because the safety of visitors and the residents is also key. How are SMMEs benefiting from all these events? Because, I mean, that's a sector that's so critical for employment, job creation, but also for the growth of our economy.
Absolutely. So for delegates, 3,500 delegates at the convention center, they are each receiving a bag. There's a gift inside that bag. We had for the first time as Gauteng Tourism over 67 SMMEs that were showcasing their infrastructure and their inventory. And these are to the people that are buying events, conference venues, that are looking to locate their next conference. These are associations, these are buyers. So we're in a very strict competition with the likes of Rwanda, Kigali, with the likes of Kenya, and therefore SMMEs should play a pivotal role because they are the ones that provide more employment opportunities.
Yeah.
But they are also providing for the youth, they are providing in the main for women. So gone are the days where the visitor economy is dominated by traditional players who are very deliberate about building new DMCs, destination marketing companies, that are able to leverage the sporting prowess. We just had the Soweto Derby in the past week. We need former players to be able to be trained as tour guides so that they are able to immerse you as a visitor to the story about our sporting prowess. They used to play in those fields, so they become better advocates for that story. And that's where we see SMMEs, especially youth and women-owned, coming into the fore, but also owning new products. We have seen the closure of some of our popular establishments due to COVID. It's important to start innovating, building digital museums and experiences that embraces any eventualities. As we had seen with COVID, with one pandemic, everything shut down, and we had to start afresh.
So how can people keep track of the events that are taking place? Where do they need to go?
We are continuously building our events calendar. It's a bumper calendar. On Gauteng, www.gauteng.net, you are also able to follow us on Visit Gauteng on Twitter, on Instagram, as we are also on TikTok. You are able to share with us. But we are also encouraging, especially those in the 5 regions of the province, to use our channel to share with us, because these are not just big events that are on TV. We want those community events that have a direct impact on our local communities. So they can share with us those information. We'll be able to link them up, because now we're living in a world where local is local. You can have a small event in a Makelwani street in Soweto, but that event will have a global reach due to the emergence of multimedia platforms that we are seeing right now.
All right. Barba, a.k.a. Barbara, thank you. Good to see you, man. Barba Gaoganediwe is the Executive Marketing Head of Gauteng Tourism.